So now is the actual workshop. So my favorite thing in probably the whole world is a book. Here I have 3 of my favorite. The Hungry Caterpillar, Where the Wild Things Live, and The Incredible Book-Eating Boy. But now we are going to do a different kind of story. A story that doesn't come from a book. Many of the best stories are found in books, but not every story needs a book. A story needs a beginning, a middle, and an end. The beginning is the first part of the story where we set the scene and meet the characters. The middle is where most of the action takes place, and then there is the end. The end is where all of the drama is concluded and hopefully we find a happy ending. Our story today is a very familiar one. It's the story of Little Red Riding Hood. Let's meet the characters. Oh, hello, Little Red. Can you say hello to Little Red? Amazing. And now let's say hello, Wolfie. Can you say hello to Wolfie? Amazing. The secondary characters in this story are Mummy, Grandma, and the Huntsman, and it will be up to you to choose if you incorporate these characters. Perhaps you will invite new characters to the start or finish the tale. So now we are ready to start our thinking routine of beginning, middle, and end. Shortly, I will explain the middle part of Little Red to you, but first we need to open our minds. I should have the Vess keys, but I left them at school. So imagine we have the Vess keys. My mind is open. Can you say that? My mind is open. Fantastic. Okay. Little Red is out walking through the woods carrying a basket when all of a sudden she meets a wolf. Oh, hello, Little Red. Oh, hi, Wolfie. Where are you going? I'm going to my grandma's house. Wolfie thinks, I'm going to do a very sneaky trick. I'm going to rush to Grandma's house, knock on the door, and gobble her up. Once I've gobbled her up, I'm going to get into Grandma's bed. I'm going to put on her hat. I'm going to put on her clothes, and I'm going to pull the cover all the way up to my nose, and Little Red will never know it's me. The wolf rushes off to Grandma's house and gets into Grandma's bed after eating her. Little Red is still walking very nicely, having a nice time in the wood. The basket's quite heavy and she's getting tired. Luckily, she arrives at Grandma's house. She knocks on the door and hears a noise from inside. It's the Wolfie saying, "Come in, Little Red! Come in, Little Red!" Little Red goes into the house and she sees somebody in Grandma's bed. But she doesn't look the same. Little Red says, "Oh, Grandma, what big eyes you have!" "All the better to see you with, my dear." She goes a little closer and she says, "Oh, Grandma, what big ears you have!" "All the better to hear you with, my darling." Little Red's not sure. She goes even closer. "But Grandma, what big hands you have!" "All the better to hug you with, my dear." Wolfie says, "Come closer, my dear Little Red." Little Red goes a little closer, and then she says, "Oh, Grandma, what big teeth you have!" And the wolf jumps out of bed and shouts, "All the better to eat you with!" Now everybody knows that in the original version of Little Red that both Little Red and Grandma are utterly helpless and unable to protect themselves from Wolfie. They need a strong man, the huntsman, to come and save them. But I don't like that ending. I am sure that today's Little Red is a strong, independent woman who is definitely clever enough to save the day without the help from the hunter. And I feel sad when Wolfie dies. After all, he was just looking for a decent meal. So now you know what happens in the middle of the story. It is your challenge, if you choose to accept it, to invent a new beginning or a new ending to this classic tale. You don't necessarily need to focus upon oral language. Perhaps you could make a storyboard to do the beginning or the end. Here's one that I made. Mum is trying to finish writing her first novel, but Little Red keeps inviting her friends round to have parties and listen to loud music. Mum decides to have a break from writing to read the news on her laptop, and she sees an article about a dangerous wolf on the loose in the woods next to her house. Mum realises that she will never finish her novel whilst Little Red is around, and she decides to send her off into the woods with the hope that Wolfie will finish her off. Or perhaps, if you don't want to do a storyboard, you could dramatise the new ending. You could use mime, you could use martial arts, you could let your bodies explain the story. Or maybe, if you're feeling really creative, you could express it through song, through poetry, or straight up classic theatre. You can use many different ways of communication, visual, verbal, or body language to express your ideas. It's up to you. The beginning or the end of this story are now in your hands. Let's modernise this classic tale and bring some new life to it. So if this is a virtual version, there'll be someone else putting you into groups, but hopefully now that person, the moderator, will split you off into different groups so that you can come together. First, decide if you want to do the beginning or the end, and then make a fantastic new creative part to this story. Good luck, guys. So, thank you so much for your hard work of making a new beginning or a new end. I'm sure that you've done fantastic work, and I'm sorry that as it's been virtual, I didn't get to see it, because I'm sure it was amazing. So I would like to end this taller, this workshop, by saying thank you, and also that I hope it's inspired you to combine storytelling with Vess. And I'd like to finally leave you with my favourite alternative ending to this story of Little Red, which is by one of my all-time favourite children's authors, the legendary Roald Dahl, and is taken from his collection, Revolting Rhymes. So it goes like this. He sat there watching her and smiled. He thought, I'm going to eat this child. Compared with her old grandmama, she's going to taste like caviar. Then Little Red Riding Hood said, but Grandma, what a lovely great big furry coat you have on. That's wrong, cried Wolf. Have you forgot to tell me what big teeth I've got? Oh well, no matter what you say, I'm going to eat you anyway. The small girl smiles, one eyelid flickers. She whips a pistol from her knickers. She aims it at the creature's head, and bang, 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 she shoots him dead. A few weeks later, in the wood, I came across Miss Riding Hood. But what a change! No cloak of red, no silly hood upon her head. She said, "Hello, and please do note my lovely furry wolfskin coat." Thanks again, guys. I hope you've had a nice time. Mwah! Enjoy the rest of the conference. Bye.